Why would you not want me and my son to know that we have a right to a lawyer, that we have the right to remain silent, that we do not have to participate in any type of monitoring or investigation? Why wouldn't you want us to know that? Because what's the first thing we do? A lawyer would immediately get a restraining order. I'd be able to identify the officer doing that. I could name them in a restraining order request. Yeah. And then there wouldn't be any possibility of anybody hanging out in front of the library doing that kind of thing. Right? It couldn't happen. Because there would be no evidence, and that's what this is. There's no evidence to prove that I've committed any crime. If there had been, it would have been given to a judge. So I'm going to roll over you. I'm not going to provide you with your constitutional rights. I'm going to do what I want to. I'm going to fake all my evidence, avoid your testimony under all cause because it's going to prove that you're not guilty. And really, detectives only avoid speaking to their targets when they know they're not guilty. That's what my professional understanding is, because they know that they're not guilty and they want to find a guilty party. If they talk to them, they're going to have to Mirandize them. They're going to have to give them a lawyer. The state's going to have to pay for the lawyer if they can't afford it. All those fun things. And your case will blow up in your face if you try to do it that way, right? So what's the only other option? Is to say that the person has been informed, say that they know that they're being searched, that their movements and actions and where they go and what they do is being documented, is being heard, is by the state, which is a seizure. To seize the words that somebody says, to document what they say is a seizure, because you are using your badge to listen and seize with your ears the words and sounds that they make. And you're doing that for the purpose of putting it in documentation. When you do that, then that is a search and a seizure. You are searching for the words they say and a seizure of it. If you go to the places where they're going, you are searching for where they go. That is a search. It's also a form of surveillance. You can surveil people without using electronic equipment. To surveil somebody, you can follow them on foot and you're still surveilling them. That's surveillance. And it's police harassment when you do it without probable cause. There was a movie Clint Eastwood made, where he followed a guy around and committed murder. And the guy filed reports against Clint Eastwood. He actually knew that he was the one doing it, because Clint Eastwood, of course, in the movie showed his face. And so the guy was able to file complaints about it. And the chief of police ordered Clint Eastwood to stop surveilling him, stop following him around. That's a violation of constitutional law. You cannot surveil somebody without probable cause. And it's one thing just, I happened to be in the library that day and I naturally overheard in an environment where people are located and everybody can naturally overhear. That's one thing. But to stand in front of the library, searching for my vehicle, knowing that that's when I'm going to the library, looking out in the parking lot for the state, is a search for me and my son. It's a search. It's not just, I was just strolling through the park one day in the merry, merry month of March. That's, already knowing where my son and I are going by following us there, which is surveillance, and seizing our movements by reacting to us and immediately engaging in a conversation on a cell phone, listening to something that's supposed to be for me and my son. That is a seizure for the state of our movements, a surveillance, and it's seizure of our actions for documentation purposes, and then engaging in a phone call and in matching our movements when we walk into the library. Right? A search and seizure. Seizure because you're not just surveilling, but you're documenting in a file, seizing that information for the state and putting it in a file. That's a seizure. It's one thing for a cop just to be on the beat, driving in his patrol car, and he happens to see Johnny stealing a lawnmower next door. It's another if he sits there in front of Johnny's house and stares at Johnny's house all day, every day, for 2 months. How many years have Jake and I been through this? And just waiting. And then knowing, since Johnny lives there, without a search warrant or anything, just camping out in front of his house. And then documenting when Johnny takes the trash out. And then sending an informant to stand idly by on the side of the house and wait for the second that Johnny walks out with a cell phone to the ear of the informant, which you're listening to, which you say you can naturally overhear, which you fake a drug deal or something like that, and have the informant walk up the side of the house to walk to the trash can at the same time Johnny happens to be taking out the trash. What does it look like? That looks like Johnny had arranged to meet whoever the informant was, when in reality the informant was placed there, knew that Johnny was going to leave the house, watched the house to see when he was going to do it, and then placed himself, walked to the trash can to make it look like Johnny was having an association with that individual. And my son and I aren't associates with any of these people at all. We don't know any of them. I've never given anybody permission to make purchases in any stores. I don't buy things and give them away, and I've never given anybody my consent to any type of monitoring or waived my constitutional rights. See how that works? Completely different. It's a way to falsify a case. It is not the way cops would really do it. If they wanted to defend the truth, if they wanted to find out who somebody was guilty of a crime and the details of that, or if they were engaged in things, activities which supported your assertion that they were pedophiles, detectives, they don't want to break constitutional law because cases get thrown out of court because of violations of constitutional law. So this has to be a juvenile detective or district attorney's investigator. And sitting back quarterbacking like Tony Mendez in a delusional state of mind that he or she is some undercover genius doing stuff like this in front of God and everybody and acting like, it's all okay. No, it's not okay. You're defining my character and my son's by creating a semblance that we're doing something wrong. You're stalking us. You're falsifying evidence. You're falsifying a documentation log, and you're violating our civil rights. You're committing civil rights violations. There's a ton of things this asshole could be charged with. And should be. These people in this library, the security guards and the librarians that have sat back and watched all this and know that it's going on and participated in it and assisted these individuals doing this, they know what they see. And they know we don't know any of these people. They know they've been told they can't say a word to us, but they are to assist these individuals. Why? Because the library administration says so. Who runs the library administration? The city of Shreveport. And who's the head of the city of Shreveport? The city council, the different agency heads, the mayor. Right? Okay. City police are run by who? Chief of police who answers to who? The mayor. all on the same team now, aren't they?